Hello, everybody. So some of you have noticed on our site on Corner Post Meats, we have quite a bit about our Audubon certified beef, grazed on Audubon certified
bird-friendly land. Grazed on bird-friendly land.
There it is. So why does it have anything to do with beef? So we thought we'd introduce you to this little guy. It's a Western Meadowlark. And anybody can take the time to venture out this weekend and get off on a dirt road, and you're almost always guaranteed to find one of these little guys sitting on a fence post somewhere, chirping away. It's one of the prettiest sounds you can hear out in the prairie. Our friend from Audubon Rockies, Alison Holloran, is here with us, and she calls this little guy the Justin Timberlake of the bird world. So why don't you give us a little sample of
all right, let's scroll down here and we can give a listen. If you haven't seen one of these beauties, odds are you've heard them. All right. All right, do you recognize that? Have you heard that when you're out on some adventure hiking or something?
Yeah, why don't you flip it over to double screen here, and let's ask Allison why this is the Justin Timberlake of birds.
We just heard it, right? We just heard the Justin Timberlake of birds song. Really and truly the Western Meadowlark. I mean, it's not only a beautiful bird, it's like you guys said, you can take a little adventure one weekend and you're almost guaranteed to see or hear it. I mean, they're everywhere in the grassland. And I will say, for me personally, when I start taking my little early spring jogs and jaunts, there's something I look for. They're like a harbinger of spring for me. Like once they start singing, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to see grass again. Snow is going to melt off and we're ready to go. And they have just a lovely song that kind of tells everyone, you know, hey, spring is on its way. Longer days are ahead and warm weather is coming our way. So I love the meadowlark for a multitude of reasons.
So even though most of us have probably seen a meadowlark or heard a meadowlark, they're also an indicator of some kind of scary stats that are happening with grassland birds. Like they're very abundant, but there's far less of them than there were before. Like if I remember the stats right, it's 3 out of 4 of them are gone. So there's only 25% of meadowlark population since like 1950, right, Allison?
Yes. So a lot of people may have seen the Cornell publication that just came out and talked about, 3 billion birds we've lost over the past 50 years. And that's pretty scary. And then when you kind of dig down in there, grassland birds, which meadowlarks are one of the sweetest species that we're losing the most. And meadowlarks, like we said, you can go out any day pretty much in the summertime and see or hear a meadowlark. So they're one of our common birds of the grasslands. But when they start, hitting the trigger points of losing ground and we're not seeing as many, that is a huge red flag for us to say, oh my gosh, what is going on in the grasslands that our meadowlarks can't make a living? Can't find a place to have babies, can't find a place to find food anymore. And so, yeah, they really tell us what's going on in that habitat for sure. And it's not a rosy picture. I hate to be a bummer about it, but currently it really isn't. And it's super concerning for Audubon, which is,
Is rosy is that all of us have the ability to do something about that. It's not one of these where it's like, I'm stumped, I don't know what to do. And that's kind of where Audubon has stepped up, and Corner Post has partnered up with Audubon in order to talk about what you eat and the impact that that has on the land. So if you personally are consuming foods like beef that that are raised in a way that makes a healthier grassland ecology, then that's better for the birds. Super tasty meat. Yay, like we can all do something about it.
100%. I mean, everyone says, why did you get into this conservation field? It's so bleak. And I'm an eternal optimist. And we all should have that outlook. Like, we all can make a difference. And it's, like you said, as simple as purchase power. If you are eating beef, take a look at what you're eating, people, and make sure that you are supporting, a producer, a rancher like you guys, like yourselves, that are doing good things for birds. Birds are telling us what's going on in the ecosystem, and believe it or not, what if they're doing well, people do well. We're all connected. And so it is super easy for an individual to have a huge impact. And I think sometimes we forget that. And that's why Audubon started the Conservation Ranching Program, which Corner Post Meats is a part, the founding ranch, actually. As part of the program, so that one, we can keep our open lands open, we can keep grasslands going. It doesn't become, a big box store parking lot or Kentucky bluegrass for another housing development. And that we're actually restoring the habitat too, that for these grassland birds. So it's super important. One, and two, it's super easy.
Yeah, and so that, I think that's the big nugget for me is it's very gratifying as a rancher in what you do. If you are a good steward of the land, not only are you giving the meadowlarks a place to live, but they're thriving. The land can be healthier from the cattle grazing, from the management of the livestock, and the constant nomadic motion of the cattle. You can take grasslands and make them healthier with the cows, and that's a topic for a whole nother thing. But it really is, that's a goal of Corner Post, is to bring that story to light. As it's a way to eating Audubon certified beef is a way to support people that are making grasslands healthier.
Yes,
and beef is an awesome product from that.
Well, and then you've got a healthier landscape, which then is good for your pollinators, it's good for your birds, it's good for big game, small game, like you were saying, Allison, it has kind of that ripple effect, and that the birds are that indicator of whether we're going in the right direction or not. So as eaters, all of us have the ability to kind of turn that ship around and head for better ecological health by paying attention to what we buy and support and eat, which is awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Something we do every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like, it's not some, crazy thing that we do once in a far while. Instead, every single day we have the ability to support the world that we want to see.
Absolutely.
So true.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with us, Allison. Any parting comments about the Western Meadowlark and the Justin Timberlake of birds?
Just listen for our little friend out there, and support ranchers like yourselves. Like, make that choice. I can't express that enough. And by doing that, you're helping the birds thrive a little bit more, like our Western Meadowlark and the Justin Timberlake. We want to keep hearing his song.
Absolutely.
He's a good one.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Allison. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Take care.